You guys rolling?
Yep, we're good.
Cool. What fish do you like? Welcome to part one of the Fishbowl with Michael Strahan. This is the busiest guy I know. A guy who comes right out of football and turns himself into this brand, and he never stops. I wonder how he does it. One of my favorite players of all time, undoubtedly one of the best pass rushers of all time, Strahan and Sarah, Good Morning America, Fox Sports. You have to deal with my dad on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Stray, welcome to the Fishbowl. We brought out the big boy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate I get the big boy with the big brain outside of his head, but I appreciate it, man.
Well, I mean, now you're a walking brand, which I kind of alluded to. You've mastered your brand, I think, which is, you know, my dad's done it too. I think there's a lot of similarities between the way I look at you guys, and obviously you were admirers of each other. But, you know, there's this young generation with my pops that think of him, he's the Radio Shack guy, right?
Yeah.
He's got a gold jacket, but they think of the Radio Shack guy. Are you ever worried about that the young person seeing your brand and not your life's work first? Is it mission accomplished, or is it like kind of offensive?
I think mission accomplished. When I was a younger player and people would say, you play football? You're like, yeah, you know, I play for the Giants. And they go, how long you been playing? I've been playing 2 years, 3 years. Then as I got older, people would say, you're a football player, right? And not that it just kind of struck a nerve with me, because I felt like you were just being seen for what you do and not really who you are. Plus, I just didn't want to be seen as just a football player. So now, when I look back, and there's a generation of kids now who have no idea I play football. There are a lot of women who watch me during the daytime who, when I'm doing Sunday football or when I was doing my Hall of Fame speech, I remember a lot of guys writing in saying, my wife is watching going, why is Michael Strahan talking about football? They have no idea.
That's wild.
And now, had I known that, would I have played 15 years and gotten beat up, not to be forgotten? Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was, it's full circle. I mean, to me, it's like mission complete, that you can have one phase in your life and completely leave it and move on to the next. And your dad's a great example of that. He was one of my favorite players growing up, and we had the same coach. So I watched so much film of your dad, and I always love to say, and it's true, that if he bent over in the lineup, I could tell which one is your dad's butt.
Yeah, I've heard the
so
quote.
Much film
I've heard the
of
quote.
your dad. But he was an inspiration, man, and so to work with him and the guys on Sundays and do all the other stuff I do now, it amazes me, but it's what I wanted.
Right.
So I go into it with gratitude, because you know, sometimes you get what you want, and once you get it, people become resentful of their life. And I'm like, why would I be resentful of what I've always wanted? I appreciate it.
Well, it's like this, I heard about Phil Simms and Collinsworth, and there were kids coming up to them and they were like, I hate you guys on Madden. Who are you? Like, you know, that you're just the voice on Madden.
Yep.
And these are two players, certainly great players in their own right, that have built this brand after football. But, you know, when you talk about building brands, I know my pop's brand is kind of very squeaky clean. I mean, he's not a guy who drinks. He's not a guy who parties. I mean, I'm not going to say.
I don't know, man. I've been in Vegas with your dad. I'm just.
Bro, I know he goes to Vegas, and I know he's like, what's for room service, and what's the movie?
Well, your dad's job in Vegas, to be honest with you, is to make sure that Bradshaw stays out of trouble and gets back to his room.
Doesn't fuck up.
Yeah, that's his job.
Doesn't end up, you know,
He's
face
like a
down.
sober companion for Bradshaw.
Yeah. Well, so my dad, I mean, like being at weddings with him and parties with him, like, you know, big stuff. I'm like, hey, let's have a beer. Let's have a shot. And he can't do it because he's afraid of pictures. He's afraid of the camera. I mean, so there's the element of trading your lifestyle and your comfort. Are you able to be Michael Strahan and have fun with this brand you've built up?
Yeah. My life is who I am.
Yeah.
So I'm not on TV and I'm one way, and you see me off TV, I'm another way. I am what I am. Do I drink? Yeah, I drink. Do I smoke cigars? Yeah, I smoke cigars. Do I love to play golf? Yeah, I love to play golf. Do I love fast cars? Absolutely. I live my life, and I don't want to create something where I feel like I have to not be authentic.
You're imprisoned by your brand. Some people
Yeah,
are.
no,
and
I
not with
see
my
it.
pops, because my pops, as you know, that's who he is. I mean, like literally, my pop's idea of a great day is hanging out at the house and just hanging out with my mom and his grandkids now. But I mean, like, you've been a player and now you're in the media, you have a brand, and you know, like, you played in New York where the media is fucking brutal. And you know, I've seen the famous, one of my favorites. You look a man in the eye.
Look a man in the eye before you try to kill him.
That was fucking good. But I guess what I'm asking is, how do you, and I know my pops has his own set of rules, now that you've been a player and you're in the media, when you're analyzing football, are there like rules that you're like, I don't cross that line, I don't question effort, I don't question injuries, or like, are there certain things that you stay away from?
Only thing I stay away from is giving a comment out of dislike of somebody or spite.
Yeah.
I think you could be honest about somebody. You can give a critical opinion, but if you give it from a place that's honest and real, people get that at home.
Right.
But when you give it, I've watched other guys who do what we do, and you can tell they're just nasty. They're angry. They're upset. They're not giving an opinion because this guy's really that bad or this guy. No one's trying to do a bad job, in my opinion, when I watch a player play a game. The guy may not have a great game, but he's not trying not to have a great game. So I'm not going to step on him and just be nasty because maybe I don't like the guy. For the most part, I probably don't even know the guy. But I just see so many guys who come across as angry and upset at these guys. And I don't like that. I don't like that because I think the public, and for me, I know I watch and I go, that has nothing to do with football, the way that person's coming across.
You can see it.
You can see it, and that's not
Players
fair.
can see it. I don't know if all fans can, and the problem is that fans who believe everything these talking heads are saying because they put on a uniform, all guys that play football are not created equally in their knowledge of the game or their commitment to their craft or their lack of biases.
But all talking heads have never played football, have all played football.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I see the ones who have played and maybe their career didn't end the way they want. Maybe they weren't as big of a star they wanted in the game. Maybe they didn't make as much money as they wanted. They see another guy who's making money now.
Of us.
Yeah, but when I got paid back in the day, I remember making $3 million. And I was like, whoa, because Bruce Smith wasn't even making $3 million. You know, and Bruce Smith caught up eventually, but it's like, I now don't look at the younger guys in any way and get upset or jealous for what the game brings them, because the game brought me in my era what it brought me, and I was happy for that. So I'm just very conscious of being fair, being honest, and not trying to come from an honest place with my opinions. But every talking head hasn't played football. And when you see a talking head who has not put on a uniform, or has not pushed themselves physically and mentally to a point where they never knew they could go, because it takes that, then that kind of upsets me.
Right.
Because but at the same time, being in New York and going through it, it taught me a lot, man. It taught me to where I live like now. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. There's nothing you can say to hurt me.
But well, you're real comfortable in your own skin, and I think like you hit on either there's talking heads that played or haven't.
Yeah.
And to me, sometimes I get almost more disappointed in the guys that know better.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, you did this. You wore this uniform. You know how hard it is. You know this kid's not trying to fuck it up.
But some people forget. They forget.
I think some people are mad.
Or they're mad. Or it's like the crazier the shit I say, the more notoriety I get. And I don't like that. Get notoriety for your quality of what you do in your work. And if you haven't played the game and you're critical, I learned, like literally I had to learn, it didn't bother me because I always say the last time you put on a uniform was when your mom took you trick-or-treating. Why am I gonna let your opinion really affect me? That's how I took it as a player. So I was more upset when they talked bad about my teammates than they were about me at a certain point in my career, because I'd moved on past that.
Thanks for watching part 1 of The Fishbowl with Michael Strahan. In part 2, we're going to be getting into how it all started for him, and it was very unorthodox.